For Northwestern State head football coach Blaine McCorkle, the team is getting ready for the 2025 Joe Delaney Bowl spring game. Coach, since the first scrimmage a couple of weeks ago, has the improvement been, or the education been what you wanted for the rest of camp so far?
Oh, absolutely. You're getting better or you're getting worse. You never stay the same, that's for sure. And that's one thing that I am really proud of our team this spring is we talk a lot about constant continual improvement, and that's something we've done from day one this spring. And, I think we started spring really well with a really good attitude, and we've constantly gotten better, and there hasn't been that major lull. Sometimes you get that lull in there as you go, and we haven't really seen that a whole lot. One thing I do think, and a couple of times when we've gone live, maybe sometimes there's been a little bit of hesitation, can we really go here? Is it time to play football? And it is, and we've got to learn to, make us pull you back, not the other way around. And that's part of the maturation process of a really young football team. But as a whole, we've definitely made improvement every day, and we've got a couple more to go before we wrap it up. So hopefully we'll continue to get better in those as well.
I know you talk about constant continual improvement. You talk about continuing, and I think that's the big word. So you hate to say it's going to be the finale of something when I know you're constantly looking forward. But as you cap spring practice, and you mentioned the constant, there was no lull. Part of that, you think, because of the way it was scheduled with no spring break and really only the Easter break that maybe interrupted some of the flow?
Yeah, I think so. Anytime you have to split your spring practice with spring break or a long weekend or whatever, you really feel like you have to start over when you come back. You got to knock some rust off, and we didn't have to do that this year, and that's good. I think the other part of that is, we've been through a full cycle here as a staff with this group of players, and we're maturing as a program. Even though we are still, as I've said, brutally young, we are maturing, and guys know what the expectation is. I was kind of joking with my staff a couple of times this spring that I've yet to lose my mind at practice this spring, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, where last spring I think I lost my mind every single day. But what that is a function of is our guys know what the expectation is. They're showing up with a good mindset. They're working hard. They're trying to do what they're coached to do. That doesn't mean it's perfect. That doesn't mean we've arrived, but what it means is I'm pleased with their attitude and their effort and their desire to get better. Again, far from perfect, but I'm pleased with the progress we're making.
I think that, again, talks to that maturity there, that they're able to handle that even though it's not perfect, they're understanding that it's a little bit better than the day before.
That's right. And then at the end of the day, that's what you want is just, every day's a new day, and you're only as good as the last thing you put on film. And when you go out there the next day, you got to try to top that. And I think as a whole, that's what they're trying to do.
With the numbers, spring games are always a little bit different. You happy with where you are in terms of that and being able to have more of a quote-unquote true spring game?
Yeah, I am. It'll be similar to last year in the fact that the scoring system will be offense versus defense. The offense will score a traditional flow. They'll score naturally with touchdowns, extra points, field goals. Extra points and field goals will be an adventure. But the defense will have a scoring system. They'll get so many points for, a turnover, a takeaway, a 3 and out, things like that to match it up pretty evenly. And it's fun. It's competitive. We won't go a whole lot of plays. So anybody that's coming that wants to see somebody when they go in, you better take your picture fast because we're going to get in and get our work done and get gone, because by the time you get to the spring game, the work's kind of done, and it's a really fun day, and it's a celebratory day, and we'll get some good work. You're going to show up to compete. We want to see who's going to show up in front of a little bit of a crowd. But at the end of the day, we want to get in, get out, and kind of wrap it up and move on to the next phase when Saturday gets here.
With that smallish number of plays, I guess the importance maybe grows for each guy to come out and put the best effort forward in that time.
Yeah, that's right. You can't waste a rep because you're never guaranteed another one. And every time you take a rep, especially in spring practice when you're competing for a position, every one of them counts. Every one of them is on film, and they're all of value. So you can't waste one because you're never getting it back. And that's something we talk about all the time is, just talk about leaving nothing to chance. And anything that you hold back, you've kind of lost it forever. You never get a second chance to take that rep. So Saturday will be a good chance for a lot of guys that are on the bubble and competing to put something good on film.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.